Hey guys, it's Rafi, and today I'm playing a game here on Lee Chess. It's a 10-minute game with 5 second of increment. So 5 seconds gets added to the clock every time I make a move. And so far, it's been a Caro Kann where we've exchanged on e4, and you know, White has played pretty standard moves thus far, with the exception of his queen on f3, which doesn't really seem right to me personally. But people have different ways of playing this, so there's nothing terribly wrong with that move, I guess. You can always put the knight here and here or here or here, something like that. So I do want to get this bishop out before I play e6. I'm contemplating how I can develop this bishop. Um, hmm. Interesting scenario. Thinking really hard how to. Really don't want to lock in the bishop unless I have to. Let's go ahead and develop this knight first. One of the ideas to take here and then play this, and then maybe, I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, he just goes ahead and proceeds as usual. We go ahead and exchange off some knights and hopefully have a fine position. Even if I just get e6 in now, it should be okay position for me. So now that he plays this one here, though, I might consider playing g6, bishop d3. Then bishop g7. Let's develop this way. Because I have some plans to break up this pawn with c5, and bishop will help, really. So now we get rid of this light square bishop. If he plays bishop d3, that's perfect. We'll trade it off. This is our bad bishop, I think, in this game. This is the good one. This bishop always gives black a lot of problems in the Caro Kann. So if he has played this, we might play queen b6 and offer him a queen trade now, which I'm happy with that. It'll open up the a file for me and bring a pawn towards the center to give control to c5. Interesting. A good trade. I don't really want to trade in this position. Kind of helps him out a little bit, doesn't it? Could play e6, but then makes my dark squares look kind of weak. I think I'll just take. I'll just trade for now and just continue developing this way. I could play bishop d3 to keep him from castling, but I think just a waste of time, really. Because his king probably wants to stay in the center now anyways, because since the queens have been traded off and it's kind of approaching an endgame now. So questioning this bishop right away, and also getting those squares away from the knight and bishop, the g5 square in particular. Um, I think I will castle in this position now. Oh, this is annoying now. I think this might be an annoying move because he'll threaten this and this at the same time. Hmm. I should have thought a little bit more. Okay, good thing he didn't play it. I'm going to go ahead and put this knight here now and offer him this trade exchange right here, which will be not bad for us. This bishop is kind of powerful, pointing this way. And if he moves this bishop away, then we will, hopefully be able to put a rook here and continue our attack on the center with c5 next. Okay, he wants to trade off this pair of bishops. Thinking for the time being, I might just ignore that. And just get one of our pieces centralized. The rook, basically. He trades. That's fine for us. Still a pretty solid position, I think. Overall, I feel pretty good. Now he hits this pawn right here, which could be problematic in some cases. I don't want to play a move like e6 because that really makes my bishop feel awkward in this position. But I think I'm going to have to play this move. But oh, wait. He might just plop his knight in here, which would be annoying long term. Maybe bishop e6 is a possibility. Trying to exchange off the bishops, but then he'll play c4, knight f4, d5. Doesn't really look that good to me. Let's go ahead and put this piece here for now to defend. It's the most active way we can defend this pawn right now. Principle of least active piece. Rook on f8 wasn't doing anything, so we move it over to a more active square where it can support the pawn. Maybe even do a pawn break at some point, maybe something like that. I don't know. Either way, it's more active on e8 than it was on f8. I try to always put my pieces on the most active squares that I can find, and I always like to start with the piece that's the least active. So it's called the principle of least active piece. And then also the principle of maximum activity, putting the pieces on squares where they have the maximum amount of activity. Thinking of the best diagonal for my bishop now. I'm going to bring this bishop back. I know this looks kind of strange, but I think the bishop's diagonal, this is a good diagonal for this bishop for right now. So I'm going to try to keep it here. Any other diagonal, I feel like the bishop just gets harassed for no good reason. The good thing with the bishops is that they can still control a long diagonal even from their home square where they started the game, which is one of the reasons why you have the principle in chess, that says develop your knights before your bishops. It's because the bishops usually already have a good diagonal to work with when they start the game. So now I'm going to finally exchange a trade of bishops here, because this bishop is really hitting a crucial square here in my deep in my position. Ooh, interesting stuff. It's really piling up on this pawn. Should I use my king to defend in this position? Nah. Let's use a rook, maybe. This looks like a better defensive try. The king can maybe come to here at some point to defend also. Thinking about a position like this is that, it's hopefully not going to be a position that I'll end up losing because I don't have any obvious weaknesses here. Either I'll win the game or I will make a draw somehow. There's going to be, two possible results, basically. So this knight is going to be annoying here for sure. That's something that I do need to be aware of now. Yep. That will be annoying for a fact. Where does my knight need to go? Okay, knight g5, there's h4, or after this, rook here, then h4. It kicks my knight around a lot. So that's not going to be too fun, but I may have to do that. But this looks like a better square for the knight, honestly. We could put the knight here. This will come now, obviously. Play rook c7. Do need to watch the time. I'm getting kind of low on time here. It's the main concern at this point in the game, is that time pressure is going to be a problem pretty soon. Really would like to play rook here and rook here if possible to ease the tension on this pawn. Not going to think about it too much. I'm going to go ahead and just move the knight here to a good active square. And then I think I'm going to play f6. Take off this square for the knight, or his knight. And bring my king in to defend this pawn. And play sort of like a passive defense. Maybe in the future I can play king here, this knight here, rook here, and then rook here. Trade off a pair of rooks. And if I can do that, definitely shouldn't have any problem being able to hold a position together without any issues. Just making sure that this works. Let's see. This might be annoying, maybe. Now I will play this move and then followed by this one. Not really worried about this pawn if it gets here. Okay, so what? I'll just snap it off like that. Probably play this or this. Either way, I'm getting this move and next move, I think. So I'll go ahead and do this trade. Knight wants to get here, so maybe v6. Don't want to give his knights any, any kind of play here. So I'll pre-move that. It's pretty much going to be my next move if he takes it. And I'm going to swing my rook over to the A file if the A file does open up. And hopefully I'll be able to get some play on the A file. I think I'll just kind of stop his pawns like this. Really would love to make this move work, but it's not working quite well here. So let's get this this knight activated a little bit more. Maybe I'll play rook b8 next move, threatening to take here, and then maybe cause some problem. I don't know. I don't know if I'll actually take here, but it's active square for the rook. So he went ahead and took. I'll take back this way. Then I'll put the rook on this open file. He's going to try to push this probably, which is fine. I'll just trade. Swing the rook this way. I shouldn't really put the rook here, honestly. On second thought. Would have made more sense right there, I think. Just keeping pressure on this pawn. Because his rook can't really do much here. If he comes here, so what? I'll just defend. My king can always come back here, defend this square, and then come back here and defend that square. In the meantime, I'll use the rook to kind of put some pressure on him. So yeah, I'll just come back here now. Definitely don't want to let his rook get here anywhere near here, which wouldn't be fun. Maybe just pressure the knight for now. And then continue pressuring this knight. Now put more pressure on him like this. Probably a trade of rooks will happen at some point here soon. If trade of rooks happen now, actually, he's going to be in trouble because he'll lose the f-pawn. With this move, let's see. I'll play here first, I think. Because now I'm threatening this and I'm threatening this. Neither of which will be fun for him. If he moves a knight, then he'll drop a whole piece. Okay, so now he just falls for a fork. This will be a winning position for me now. Yep. So let's analyze this one and see what happened and how we could have done a little bit better or worse or whatever the scenario is. Let's give the computer a chance to look at the game for us, and then we'll do some analysis after that. Okay, so the computer analysis is now ready. So yeah, let's look at this and see what happened here. I hope we played a pretty decent game. Just looking at the quick evaluations, looks like we made one mistake and one inaccuracy and no blunders. 13 average centipawn loss, which is really good. If you're familiar with centipawn losses, centipawn basically is like every time the move that you make differs, changes the evaluation of the engine by X, Y, or Z in either direction, it'll basically add or subtract centipawns. So, for example, if the engine gives like a move like E4 as the best move, which gives a +1 for white, but you instead play C4, which gives a -1, then your average centipawn loss in that case, I believe, would be 2. I think it would give you 2 points for that. Anyway, so yeah, so that's kind of how it keeps track of like how close to the engine's move were your moves, basically, is what that reflects, from my understanding at least. I'm not completely sure of what it is, but I think that's what it is. Anyway, so this is the Caro Kann, and here he played kind of a interesting move, Queen F3, which I haven't seen before personally. I'll move this camera. So it's sorry. So yeah, it's basically immediately takes us out of book as soon as he played that move. Why is it saying? Oh, there we go. Actually, no. I was joking. There are moves with Queen F3 by masters. Although I don't know if this is the best way to play because the queen doesn't really belong on F3. I feel like. So I played this and played C3. Oh, I did play the best move. Interesting. Knight D7. Computer suggesting that as well. Okay, so he played this. Now I went ahead and took. So Queen C2 is the best move. Lots of games in the database still. Then I played G6, which has been played before. Bishop G4 is the main move. Plays Knight F3. Bishop F5 first. So he moves his queen, attacks my pawn. Very briefly, I thought about just ignoring that, but it was probably going to be too much to let him take on B7. So I went ahead and played Queen B6. He played this bishop move. Computer is suggesting E6, but I don't know how I feel about that move, honestly. Like the dark squares here kind of become a little bit weaker. I mean, I do have the dark square bishop. I get it, but I don't know. I feel like this knight can also harass this bishop at some point. I don't have the opportunity to draw back this way. So yeah, now it's changing its mind and suggesting queen takes is the best move. So anyway, I played this. I thought he should have taken with the a pawn also. It kind of looks strange that he took with the bishop because this opens up the a file and brings the pawn towards the center. So then I developed my dark square bishop and just, playing simple developing moves now. Bishop G5. Yeah. Pretty normal stuff. I think I played H6. Yeah, I played H6 right away. To ask that bishop where he wants to go first and get this G5 square away from his knight. But then I played this move that I think was kind of an inaccuracy. I played this because now I thought he could have played this. But I guess that's not that big of a problem. If he plays this move, he's heading to try to take this and hit this as well. So if I play a move like this, he'll just take on G6 since the F7 pawn is pinned. But this is interesting. It's this, here, here. That's pretty cool. I didn't really see all this, but I didn't think that it was the end of the world by castling either. I thought it was fine, probably. Yeah, so he castled. I now stopped that opportunity or that possibility of him doing that whole knight h5 idea. So I just played my knight here. So if now knight here, for example, then I can just I can just take the bishop in this case. But my idea is just to bring this bishop back. So he plays that, and I decided not to trade, but instead just bring another piece into the game this way with the rook. Takes, and I found the most active way I thought was to defend the pawn, which is rook e8. He attacks my bishop. I brought it all the way back to c8, which again, the bishop is very active still in this and from this square. Even though it's all the way back home, it's like still guarding a lot of really crucial squares here, which is why I didn't want to ever play e6, because I didn't want to trap the bishop in. So knight f4, getting the knight to a good square, and bishop. Now I want to exchange off his bishop, because his bishop does seem to be more active than mine. It's hitting a pawn in my king side, and mine is not doing anything in terms of attacking. So it's good to exchange off less active pieces for the more active ones of your opponents. So he takes, I take. Now he does start to put some pressure on the e7 pawn, but I think I did an okay job of relieving some of that pressure. So here I could have, I guess, played c5 and tried to really attack this center, but I played a very passive type of way here. I played knight f4 and allowed him to play this, but I thought I would be okay after a move like this. I didn't specifically see what he could do if I would just play this. But maybe there's some, this is, so he plays that. Ooh, that's a problem, because now I can't defend this. Oh, man. He plays this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is not good. Okay, so I missed something here. Knight f4. After this, I can't play rook c7, so I have to consider rook here. Rook here. King here, and he... So I can take here. And play this way. And this is probably fine for black, honestly. I don't think there's anything too much to worry about, but white's certainly better with this bigger center here. Pawns rolling at me, and my knight and rook are not optimally placed. The knight really belongs probably on d5. Rook probably belongs on e6 or something. So yeah, it's the pieces are a little uncoordinated in this position, but I think it's not something that's so easy to take advantage of either. Any case, he missed it. Didn't play that. Played this. I put my knight on a good square, and then just started taking away any kind of squares from him for his knight, which is f6. Got my king closer. And then I decided I was going to trade off the rooks, so I got this rook into the game, getting ready for the trade. And then I, brought the knight. Traded a one rook off. Then played b6 again. The same strategy, keeping all the good squares away from his pieces. So this knight is trying to enter the game many ways, but every time he tries, I'm taking it away. That's why I played b6 here. Not because of the pawn. I mean, yeah, the pawn, he can take, and I can open the a file, but mostly because I don't want him knight to get into c5. So I thought that, at some point, if he wants to make progress, he's going to have to play moves like g4 and h3. So I'm ready to start trading this way and keeping this structure very, intact as much as possible. I thought about playing this move very temporarily, but I realized this would become a gaping hole, so his rook would pop in here, and that's not good. Here, honestly, I just, didn't have really anything constructive much to do. I just sat there and just waited to see what he would do, I don't have any specific ways to break through in this position much without kind of worsening my position, so kind of like a passive sort of approach, I think, is one of the best ways to kind of play these kind of positions. And just waiting for him to, try to make progress and make a mistake. Again, I just ignored all this, just shuffled my rook back and forth. Came this way with the rook, he defended. I went back this way again. Although computer does like the idea of bringing this way and coming behind this pawn probably. Yeah, would have been cool. So, so yeah, the idea the computer doesn't want to play this move because he knows if I play here, if he plays check, king king g8, rook has to go back again. So it wants to use that time to make a more constructive move like this right here, which is I agree with that. So I really wanted to harass this knight at this point, which I did. Now it becomes really difficult to defend this knight. He has to play here, and then I get my rook in here, and it's really not an ideal position for him right now. Plays this attacking move, but I get my knight to a great square now, and really everything is under attack. B2 pawn, C4 pawn, and then also the rook here via this fork. And he misses the most important one of those, which is the fork. Plays that. Just a quick fork, and it's over because I'm taking the exchange, and then coming behind this and taking that pawn, and it's over after that. I can take this pawn as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you all got something. You guys got something out of this game. Yeah, I think overall we played pretty good, solid chess, and yeah, I think opponent played well until the end where he just messed up with this whole idea of trying to get them. He just basically got his pieces kind of tangled up over here with the knight and the pawns and the rook. It was just some miscalculations. So other than that, he played a pretty good, solid game, I think. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in my next video.